Hey guys, Yinzi here, and today we are going to learn about quests by looking at what the events in Pokémon Unite do for the game and how they could be improved. Before we take a look at what quests do for Pokémon Unite, let's first define what a quest is. A quest consists of three phases. Starting off with obtaining the quest, which means that the player is told go do something by the game. In case of Pokémon Unite, that means going to your events, battle pass or beginner quest section and looking up what there is to do. Quests are used to set a goal for players that might otherwise have none and therefore quit playing. For that reason, it is really important to make these easy accessible or players might not find them. Then, the player can jump into a game and feint opponents, get MVP, play a slowbro or whatever this game asks them to do. Sometimes just logging in is enough. In the best case, players have the chance to experience something fun and or new, but oftentimes they are also used to chop down a long goal into tiny steps to help with motivation on the grind. And finally, after some hard work, when players completed their tasks, they get to claim their reward. The reward can be something that the player really wants, but due to limited access to those items, usually it's just some kind of common item. It is the motivation to do the quest task though. It doesn't really matter what item it is as long as the player didn't work for nothing. Usually the feeling of achievement when seeing the claim become completed is the biggest reward in itself, but if the reward is lackluster, the player has a higher chance to not do a quest if he doesn't feel like it is worth it. So now that we know what a quest is, let's look into what Pokémon Unite's quests are designed to do. Starting off with a really interesting one. Log into the game. It is impossible to see the challenge before completing it, so why is it there? First of all, it is a daily quest, meaning players know it's there every day. Therefore, after seeing it for the first time, it establishes the quest for when the player is not in the game. And that's the main purpose. Even if a player logs in and doesn't play, it was not a waste because they get rewarded. If a player cannot play because they don't have time to sit down and concentrate or a stable internet connection for 10 minutes, the game still wants players to log into Pokémon Unite and in the best case make logging in daily a habit. There's also a second reason. If you can claim a reward, there is a red point on the event symbol. This reminds players to look into there at least once a day. And while they are there, they will at least see the other daily missions they can complete. And what is the second quest after logging in? Participate in one battle every day. Really straightforward and truly the next logical step. After a player logged in, they play the game. So again, players get rewarded for something they would do anyways if they enjoy the game. This quest gives an additional goal by rewarding that. And if we look one further, there's participate in 3 battles every day. So play some more, and usually after that players should have won a battle, but sometimes not 2, and so they go playing again for that one. Notice the pattern? It's get invested a bit, and then a bit more, and afterwards even a bit more. And that's the main purpose of the daily missions. Except for the last quest, or at least what was the last quest before the mobile release. The one I only did in Aroma Park because the map is just so fun. It is to participate in a quick battle, and as the name suggests, it is quicker. It is also the only daily quest asking the player to play a certain game mode. So Pokémon Unite was trying to encourage players to finish their quests in quick battles, which is honestly interesting. Quick battles are the more varied and shorter game mode, but also not the main game mode. I also feel that it is the best game mode to get players to test potential future main game mode features. I, for example, love the extra complexity added to movement by conveyor belts. Since the last update, the last daily quest is play with your friends. And even though even less people will probably finish it daily than the quick battle, this one is genius for several reasons. For one, it makes players look for others that play the game daily. Those others will usually be excited about the game, therefore being a positive feedback loop for the player, strengthening their emotional ties to Pokémon Unite. Additionally, as with almost everything in life, doing things together is more fun than doing them alone. This is if all parties are trying to genuinely work together, which for example at school group assignments often is not the case, but with people passionate about the game it usually should be, as it is beneficial to everyone. The third reason is once you found somebody to do this quest with daily, you are also playing the one daily match for your friend, which usually is a much stronger incentive than just a few AOS tickets. Like with the daily missions, the other quests usually have a condition that you will fulfill by just playing normally. At that point again a red dot will appear, and while claiming the reward for said quest, you might also see another quest that still needs to be finished. And what I just explained to you is the main gameplay loop of Pokémon Unite. You log on, claim a quest, see more quests, finish those, and then find even more until there aren't any new ones anymore, or you know that you will have the time to finish the remaining quests later. The next day it's rinse and repeat. By now maybe you don't do all the daily quests anymore, and not daily either, but in the beginning after you picked up the game I'm sure that you did exactly that for at least some time. The reason for that is the reward. Maybe playing a quick battle that one might not enjoy is not worth 50 tickets. Maybe a player got bored of the game and therefore no matter what the reward is, they're not excited to progress in Pokémon Unite. But as long as a player is invested in leveling up their items and unlocking new characters, there's a high chance that they will return to the game daily and finish the daily quests. So now that we understand that the repeating quests are all about making players play more, let's take a look at the non-repeating quests, or rather a subset of those. I like to call them tutorial quests. No matter whether they are labeled tutorial or not, they exist to teach the player how to play the game. This can be the very basics of the game. Quests can also be used to make the player play in another way that they would not have otherwise. Such quests are also often used to introduce the player to a new feature they haven't tried yet, either because it is new or because they just gained access to it. Tutorial quests are meant to get players invested, show them all the different ways to play the game and help them understand the game's intricacies more. This is vital to establish a bigger long-term player base, because for one, there's nothing turning off new players more than being overwhelmed, and for long-term players, more and deeper content prevents the game from getting stale. While the tutorials themselves don't add more content, they make players aware of it that might not have considered, understood or known about certain features at all. As long as these support fun gameplay, they are great. The recent event mission round is a good example of this, making players try out different characters than they probably usually would. Slowbro is so fun to play. A bad example would be the Get MVP quests from the Battle Pass. Actually scrap that. That there is an unbalanced performance score at all is the main problem here. But that makes getting players to play matches with only getting MVP in mind not a good thing even more. And also, those quests should only be rewarded one time, because they get tedious and boring for players that have already mastered what the game tries to teach players. Or in case of certain daily quests that probably for exactly that reason doesn't exist anymore, force players to use a feature that they might not enjoy over and over again. There is another subset of quests, those that are only available for a certain time. They can be grind quests or tutorial quests, but as I already said, they are only available for a certain time. This makes them special and more exciting. They oftentimes have special rewards too, like Zeraora and Pikachu for the release of Pokémon Unite or the Slowbro outfit. Sometimes they are also just normal items you grind for, usually in slightly or more than slightly bigger amounts. Anyways, what's special about those is that they have an exciting rewards and are only available over a limited amount of time. Good rewards are an easy way to build a hype and potentially even bring back players that had lost interest in playing the game before. I'm sure sometimes you too hear something about such events and games that you don't play anymore. A new Among Us map, Pokemon Go Community Day, a new Pokemon Sword and Shield ranked reset, or maybe you will pre-register and log in on mobile just to get that Pikachu costume on the mobile launch of Pokemon Unite. Having interesting quests like puzzles or tutorials in there makes such events even more interesting and might make players that came back stay for longer. But oftentimes they are just a grind to lengthen playtime, because your dedicated player base will grind out a free holoware or a free Pokemon, therefore giving them a reason to put more play hours into the game. So now that we know what quests are in Pokémon Unite and what their role is, we can take a look at them and see whether they are good for the game and then come up with some new ones. Starting with the daily missions. They are perfect for what they are supposed to do, and that is to get players playing the game for longer and more regularly, and most of the Battle Pass missions do the same. Except for the one that everyone is complaining about: get MVP a certain number of times. This one just incentivizes anti-team play behavior. But even if it wasn't for that, did you see how get MVP and play a quick match are similar? They are both tutorial quests. So are the score X amount of points as well as knock out X amount of Pokemon. But those can be accomplished with any reasonable playstyle and with every Pokemon, to the point where they are only tutorial quests for players that don't engage with opponents or only seldomly score, both of which are non-optimal playstyles. For everyone else, they are just automatically completed by doing the daily missions. And I'm sure that the team wanted to make the MVP quest to be like the others too. Play well, get a good rating, but they made a mistake. The true MVP quest is play a hard carry, score a bunch, don't get KO'd, and if your teammates get KO'd, that's actually good for you. Sure, there are other things that play into it, but the main thing is that it makes people want to play carries and those in a solo fashion, which goes against the core concept of Pokémon Unite and ultimately makes the game less fun for most of the players. The player quick battle quest is not bad to that extent, but it again limits the player. Instead of playing whatever game mode they want, they should play a quick battle. And that's just not what a daily mission should do. If it were a tutorial quest, like in the beginner quest series, it would be fine, even welcome. The quick battle challenges are great, and I'm looking forward for future seasons. And honestly, as long as they aren't repetitive nor making the game less fun, it's almost impossible to go wrong with tutorial quests. Unless they go actively against what this game wants to be, of course. A quest that is 100% in line with what the game wants to be is Event Mission Round 3. Playing as X role or playing a Pokemon that is available for everyone is great. Also, the ranked match missions that give a highlight on ranked battles are good quests. If they don't repeat too often, that is. Because all of those are incentivizing players to play in a style or mode that they might not play normally, keeping the game fresh. It's important to always keep in mind what those quests encourage. Because, for example, right now the meta is to have a team fight at Dreadnought and basically ignore Rotom. If now there is a quest to defeat Rotom X times, a portion of the players on the team will play to win and fight at Dreadnought, while another portion might want to complete their quests and go to Rotom instead, making their team lose. The same goes for Zapdos. The quest to defeat Zapdos might make players attack it when their team is trying to defend it. Now, are those quests bad for the game? No, they are not. What I just described was in matches where players already know the best strategies. There are a lot of people that don't know what's going on though, and for those people, these quests teach players to take objectives, have fights over them, get them stolen, learn what they do, etc. Inexperienced players that never cared about objectives are now there. And what I described just now is why making those tutorial quests really tough. For one, the best strategy will evolve over time as there are patches, new mechanics and synergies added or discovered in Pokémon Unite. Therefore, it is really hard to make quests that don't go against possible future strategies. The Unite team might just not know what the best strategy will be in a week or two when the quests are played by the player base. There is a chance that they intended Rotom and Dreadnought to be equally good. Imagine a big buff to Rotom when they previously taught the player base that Dreadnought is the more important objective. In general, thinking of possible new quests is pretty simple. You just go in-game and see whether there is something a player can interact with, and attach said interaction to a quest. There's A-bombs in the arena, so a possible quest would be to defeat those. A jump pad exists, using that as a possible quest. The hard part is looking for quests that can teach player behavior while not messing up team play in the arena. For example, a quest to defeat Audinos might lead to fights over bottom lane when it's meant to teach players to pick up their Audinos that spawn after the first goal is taken out. Another idea would be a grind quest to take out wild Pokémon, teaching people to farm experience and maybe steal their opponent's experience in the process. Also teaching the concept of last hits. Another really fun quest would be to flee into a bush in combat to avoid being auto-aimed at. This is something that can and should be taught to players in my opinion. And honestly, I'm surprised that there aren't more tutorial quests leading players to different gameplay elements. Having a change your outfit quest once in a while with the amount of clothing this game throws at you would be a great way to get players to play around with their fashion. Maybe add one for the trainer card as well, but probably make it so that just entering the editor is enough. The same for a Holowear quest. Everyone got a free Venusaur skin from the 14 days welcome gifts, so everybody can do it. Also through events and energy rewards, even free-to-play players will unlock some Holowears over time. This quest would increase the value and attention that Holowears get. Also, there could be a quest to give out a well played to make players give these out more deliberately, making the playing experience much more fun. Honestly, getting a well played from a teammate just feels good, especially if the MVP rating doesn't favor you. No, I'm definitely not talking about myself getting low scores here. These are just a few quests that I would probably add to Pokémon Unite. Do you have any other quest ideas? Tell me in the comment section down below or on Twitch, where I stream every Monday 5 PM Central European Time. I hope you learned a few things about quests in general and what they are trying to accomplish in Pokémon Unite. A lot of other free-to-play titles have similar quests. I hope this video also brings some awareness of what the quests in those games are designed to do. I hope to see you all next time when we're going to take a closer look at the item level system.